Applaudissements s'il vous plaît.
All right.
All right.
Et bonjour tout le monde.
Bonsoir.
Time to jam.
Et oui, c'est Rift of the NecroDancer, c'est
Mhm.
le moment de vibrer. J'espère que vous êtes prêts et prêtes dans le public comme sur le chat pour balancer toutes vos emotes dans le chat parce qu'il y a du lourd qui s'annonce. Chfou nous présente une très belle...
Oh, I really like playing on a fight stick, actually.
Plein de musique, vous allez voir, ça va être très...
I've seen a lot of funny controllers for this game,
Ça va bien, on va essayer de pas rater trop de notes.
Eh oui,
but I just kind of still go keyboard. I do have rhythm games I go my hitbox for, but
I also go keyboard for this game. But this is a two-hand rhythm game when you get to high levels, as you could probably see on the hand cam there. Because on keyboard, you can use both the arrow keys and WASD, and some of the highest level songs require it.
yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, did they just turn on shopkeeper mode for this first song?
I
think they did.
think they did.
Because this first song is Cryptech, which you probably heard earlier in Crypt, because this is one of the 3 Crypt songs that they released as free DLC.
Yeah, this is usually the song for floor 2 of zone 1. So the second song in the game, unless you're playing as the character that Luther was playing as in Crypt earlier. But yeah, here's our first view of gameplay of Rift of the NecroDancer. And if you've never seen this before, you're probably wondering how to keep up with this. The kind of trick of the game is that not only are there these 3 lanes that you have to hit the right notes in, but each note is actually an enemy you happen to beat, and every enemy has very different patterns.
Yep. Yeah, so basically you got your basic skeletons. The white skeletons you only have to hit once. The yellow skeletons you have to hit twice, but after you knock their head off, they run back until they run into another enemy. And black skeletons are the same as the yellow skeletons, but you hit them twice before they lose their head. There's these armadillos, the blue armadillos. All armadillos are based on triplet patterns. Blue armadillos are the first 2 notes of a triplet. Red armadillos are the first and third note of a triplet. Yellow armadillos are all 3 notes of the triplet. These giant skulls, you have to hit them a certain amount of times depending on what color they are, but when you defeat them, they spit out 2 zombies into the row behind them. And so, yeah, the blue ones you have to hit twice, the red ones you have to hit twice, but the second hit they move lanes.
And probably one of the most important things to look for is also the shadows, because you might notice like the shadows below some of these enemies have different shapes, and that actually has a pretty big impact on how you hit them, because a standard circular shadow means they're on beat. A like diamond, like 4-sided shadow means they're like they land kind of perfectly on the offbeat, but this kind of like scattered pointy shadow just means they're not on either of them. Yeah. So that's where a lot of like the wild card in these charts come in. You have to really keep track to how like when they're moving down on the beat.
Yeah, sometimes it means they're on the 16th note. In this song, since this song is in 6/8, these are all on triplet offbeats, which makes it even more awkward if you're not prepared for it. Also, the bats are another enemy type that are in this song. Even the song's now open, but the bats, depending on what color, they move lanes after every hit. Blue bats just move to the lane in front of them, require 2 hits. Red bats go in front to the lane in front of them, and then back for 3 hits. And then yellow bats move into the lane in front of them twice for 3 total hits. So enemies that change lanes like that will loop, in the sense that if they're in the left lane and try to move left, it will move all the way to the right lane, which, you know, makes perfect sense once you're used to it, but when you're learning the game, that will absolutely throw you off.
And yeah, so coming up, we have Matriarch, which is the first this game original that we're going to be seeing here.
Yes, this is if you can't tell by what you hear in the song, this is a Jules Conway song. Once the guitars kick in, you can tell. This is also my favorite Jules Conway song, and they're all very good, but this is the one that I think is the best personally. But it's kind of funny. It's a Jules Conway song, and it's actually not that hard. Especially if you hear the song, you're like, oh, they really did not chart this as hard as they could have.
Deuxième musique
Deuxième
peut-être.
musique, ouais, qui est aussi le premier full combo que j'ai fait.
But a big part of that is it's relatively down tempo, all things considered. Yeah, this song also introduces the harpies. The harpies come in 3 colors as well. They got the green, the blue, and the red. The harpies gimmicks are they move down the lane every other beat, but they move 2 tiles. And then blue harpies, once you hit them, they jump back and you have to hit them again a second time 2 beats later. And then red harpies just buck that entire trend, move down 2 tiles at a time every single beat. So those are the jump scare enemies.
Yeah, and we also see our first taste in this chart of slimes and zombies. Slimes are like the most normal enemy. You just hit them. If they're blue, you have to hit them twice. The yellow 3 times. But we also saw a little bit of zombieing earlier, which will come back in this chart. But you also saw like the danger of red harpies there. I'm always just bad. I am very naturally used to reading near the bottom of the playfield, so I'm really bad with red harpies personally.
Yeah, zombies and red harpies are by far the hardest enemies in the entire game to read.
Yeah. The zombies, they jump down the field diagonally. The green ones will bounce off of the wall, so they won't like wrap from left to right, but the red zombies will.
And some of the songs, it's just a field of zombies and you have to try and parse which ones are moving where, and it gets really rough at times. Also, it seems like they're just going to be using the shopkeeper mode a lot, which, if you're familiar with Crypt and, you know, the existence of the shopkeeper, this game does bring him back, and it's purely just for fun. He doesn't make any difference in the gameplay besides singing along and being the character on the right side there.
Yeah, the character on the right side is usually just dependent on like where in the story the song plays. Although I'm hoping for some of the DLC songs we get, we don't see the shopkeeper because a lot of the DLC songs bring over their subject character.
Well, thankfully, most of the DLC songs do not have shopkeeper tracks. The only songs that do have shopkeeper tracks are the original songs, the Crypt and NecroDancer songs, and then the Danny B remixes.
Makes sense.
So yeah, as a result, outside of there's I think only 7 songs that have shopkeeper tracks that are DLC, and 3 of those are Crypt songs.
At the end of the song, by the way, you saw like the power mode. I'm forgetting the precise term for it right now.
Vibe power.
Vibe power, yeah. If you're used
Star
to
power.
if you're used to star power, it's very similar to that. While you're in vibe power, whatever your combo is doubled. So if you're at enough combo for 4 times points, you're scoring 8 instead. And also, you're not taking damage if you miss a note. So we haven't explained like the fail condition in songs because you're probably not going to see it. But you do have a health bar or like a health count in the bottom left you can see. And if an enemy gets past you, it takes health from you. And if that gets all the way to 0, you're done.
Thankfully, the game is not so mean to just give you 10 health and that's it, because you'll notice some of the notes coming down the way are food items. The different food items have different amounts of hits, and for each hit you give to a food item, it restores 1 health. And so, yeah, those are very, very important when you're still learning the game and are very much at risk of dying.
Yeah, and this song, Amalgamaniac, I believe is the first time this showcase we are seeing skeletons with shields, or at least the first time we're seeing them in as prominent of a portion as the chart compared to the first 2 songs. If a skeleton has a shield, you need to attack with it on the offbeat. So
Yes,
if it only has
shields are essentially 8th notes.
Yeah.
And then triple shields are 3 of them instead of 2. Or double shields, I mean.
Yeah. So if a single shield is just like hit 1 and, a double shield is actually 1 and 2. So it carries over to the next time that things on the lane would move, which trips me up a lot personally.
Oh yeah, no, they get very mean with the double shield sometimes, where they start overlapping them with other notes. So like on the 3rd beat of the 3 8th notes, you have to start hitting other notes at the same time, and it's always tricky to read.
Yeah. Like, for example, if there was a blue slime and a double shield next to each other, you would end up killing them at the same time, even though you'd be hitting them different amounts.
Or in this song, it uses them as kind of like trills a lot of the time, where one of the shield skeletons is on the 16th note, and so you're hitting 1 and 2 and between 2 different lanes.
And I would say that's a very popular thing in these impossible charts. So, like, it's a very simple way for the game to make you input things very fast, is to have those kind of shields set up as those trills.
Get used to it, because it will be getting a lot more complicated with that same concept later. Also, this is the first Alex Mukala track that we're hearing. This is a very good one. I like this song.
This is a very good song.
Also, something else that this song had that we didn't mention is that this song was the first use of specific types of traps. We've technically seen some of the other traps, but this song had the hot coals, which when enemies step on them, they get set on fire and start moving in double time. And only the grounded enemies are affected by that. So enemies like bats and harpies aren't going to be moving faster, which adds to the chaos if you're not prepared for them.
Yeah.
You will see what kind of shenanigans they can cause in some of the later songs, because they're very mean at times. There's a few different types of traps, and the other type of trap that we've seen is the type of trap that moves enemies between lanes. So it's like it's a little wooden tile with an arrow on it, and when the enemy steps on it, it'll move it either backwards, forwards, side to side, diagonally. It varies a lot.
On prend pas de dégâts si on rate 2 notes, et on a notre multiplicateur doublé pendant la durée du Viper.
Effectivement, donc du coup c'est plutôt pratique, notamment en impossible, parce que vous
I know we don't have to worry about the shopkeeper for this next song.
Ça garantit justement tout ça. Et du coup, bah, on passe.
Un petit peu de collab.
It's time for Madeline Celeste.
Yeah. So this is the first DLC song we're going to play that is both paid and a crossover from a game that isn't Rift crossing over Crypt, same series. This is Confronting Myself from Celeste, which you might recognize from Chapter 6 of that game. And is this card is wild. It's probably my favorite chart of the Celeste pack, but it's very difficult as well.
Yeah. No, the Celeste DLC did not pull any punches. It is responsible for the hardest song in the entire game, which is not this song, but this song is not easy either. The song also is the first appearance of the Blade Master enemy. which the whole gimmick with them is they move down the lane normally, but at some arbitrary point along the way, it'll charge up, and then 1 beat later, it'll instantly attack you. And so sometimes they're literally all the way down at the bottom of the lane when they do it. Sometimes they'll do it all the way from the top, and you just have to know what you're doing. Because sometimes you cannot sight read them.
They do thankfully have an audio cue when they're about to like charge at you, but that is not always like reactable in the speed of the song. Especially with all like the hit sounds and everything else going on.
Yeah, because there's some tracks on Impossible where in order to make it more difficult, they just put the song in double time.
Yes.
And as a result, there are songs on Impossible difficulty that are like 260 BPM. And yeah, you're not reading Blade Masters at that speed without knowing what you're doing. Also, a fun thing with the Celeste DLC is that there is a portrait for both Madeline and Badeline. This is one of the Badeline songs.
Most of the DLCs only have like one portrait character for the side, but this one has 2. There's another one that has a unique one for every song, but we'll get to that much later. For now, we're getting into the second part of the song here, where you're seeing portals show up, which this part of the chart uses for really cool visual effects. But they're also not just using them for visual effects. The portals can and will actively teleport enemies that step on them to wherever the other portal is, and that can be used to just kind of shove enemies in your face.
And sometimes they use it to fake you out, where it'll have an enemy come all the way down to the bottom and then teleport them away at the last second and make you miss because there's nothing there anymore. But yeah, some Impossible tracks use the traps as a visual effect, and you're going to be seeing that a few more times, but it's a really cool thing because a lot of the charts, they make the effort of like tying them to the song in some way. For example, one of the other Celeste tracks is the track that plays in the hotel, and there's a chart for that. And later on in the song, it basically makes one of the giant skulls, sets it on fire, and just has it running down the middle at the top for a little while, and it's supposed to be Oshiro chasing you, and I think that's a really cool detail. That's one of my favorites, personally.
Yeah, this game's charts are really good. Like, obviously this is a really weird game, but I think the team did a great job making charts that, like, really use it to its full potential. And, well, obviously this game can be really confusing to read at first. I don't think any chart is, like, that unlearnable. So it's a really well done job.
With one exception, Reach for the Summit.
Okay.
Well, when I say it's the hardest track of the game, I'm not exaggerating. It is not even close.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's basically like constant 16th notes at like 200 something BPM.
Et quand je rate une note, vous voyez un peu.
Un petit tigre, c'est pas grave, t'es pas sur ton setup, voilà, c'est pas évident.
C'est surtout pour cette musique, les notes pour avoir le Star Power sont assez traîtres par moments, notamment avec les épices qui viennent de vraiment loin.
Ouais.
Et ça peut vraiment un peu...
I also appreciate that Rift has those leaderboards in the corner by default.
Yeah.
So you can always just see how you did compared to yourself and other people.
Ça va enchaîner.
But now it's Miku time.
Now it's Miku time.
It is Miku time.
Si vous aimez Miku.
Because one of the DLCs is in fact Hatsune Miku.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the funny Miku songs.
This is also probably like one of the first charts in the, if not the first chart in the showcase, where you can definitely see some of the challenge deriving from just how high the BPM is of the song. Where
this song is very fast with a lot of fast notes, and it's only got to get faster halfway through. But this is a very fun song. I like this one a lot. I've come like one note off of FCing this song multiple times. It is. I just think this chart's a really fun one. And then the song's also Miku, so that's even better.
Yeah. I'm like a little bit of... I get a little bit of a flack upon a few friends for being a big like rhythm game player, especially like some arcade games, but not being a big like Vocaloid person. But I like this song in particular a lot.
I mean, yeah, when they put out the Miku DLC, it was my first time hearing 5 of the 6 songs. And the one song that I'd heard before was the one from the Crypt DLC.
Yeah.
Le public, attention, préparez-vous. Ready?
And now it gets fast. Remember what I said, that the hot coals can make some very fun patterns at high speeds? Yeah. That's what I mean.
Funnily enough, I feel like the hot cool patterns, the fast patterns, are easier for me to read just because they're much closer to traditional rhythm game reading.
Another thing that I do that my other rhythm game friends make fun of me for, I struggle with hot pulls because I play a lot of my games at a lot lower of a scroll speed than a lot of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm bad with the hot pulls because kind of similar reasons to why I struggle with Blade Masters. I usually don't have my games move that fast, so I'm kind of reading near the bottom of the screen.
I am curious to see if you you still have that opinion with some of the songs later. Because that one, for a hot coal pattern, that one's pretty tame.
I see.
Because like I can play that pattern. It took a good amount of practice to get it down, but I can play that pattern. Some of the later songs, I cannot play the hot coal patterns correctly in this latest.
So shouts, I think I know this song from a different rhythm game, believe it or not.
Miku is kind of a rhythm game staple, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Although one of the Miku songs included in this DLC was a new release at the time. It was like the song had come out like a day before the DLC came out, which I thought was really interesting.
I think I remember this.
It was Radiant Revival.
Wario 5 comme je l'appelle. Vraiment très bon jeu. Franchement, je vous conseille de...
And now for something that's pretty much exactly the same as Miku.
Yeah.
Time for Pizza Tower.
Pretty much, you know, there's a couple differences, but I think we can overlook those a little bit.
I like when so the first 3 paid DLCs for this game were the Celeste, the Pizza Tower, and the Miku. And I remember seeing a joke when the like Ultimate Edition banner for the game was Cadence, Madeline, Pepino, and Miku. And I just saw a bunch of posts being like, "Oh, it's 4 trans women."
You know what? Why not?
But yeah, this is another song that I would say is definitely just fast because the song is fast. It's not because it's trying to get too much to you. It just goes by really quickly.
Yeah, the Pizza Tower songs, a lot of them make use of the fact that the songs are not the same tempo the entire time, which makes the charts a lot harder to read. Because the game can shift the tempo of the chart in the middle of it, and if you don't know the song, there's no visual indication of it besides things just getting faster or slower. And like I said, since the Pizza Tower songs change tempo, makes them very hard to read when you're first learning them. Because I have a confession, I have not played Pizza Tower, so I did not know this music before the DLC.
I didn't know the music either. I've heard the music from the game was really good, and I've had it in my Steam library for a while. But unironically, like playing this DLC makes me like move the game itself a little bit higher on like my priority of starting it on my backlog. This music is all really good.
Oh yeah.
And probably still some of my favorite charts, even through like the 5 other DLC packs that have come out since.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not at the very top of my list, but It's Pizza Time is still one of my favorite charts for sure.
I think Worldwide Noise is maybe one of my favorites.
I wish I liked that song more than I do.
I love that song, but I also, my music taste is chaotic in general.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much a case of, it's not the song is bad, it's just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
But we will not be seeing my favorite DLC chart, but it is from one of the later DLCs.
I think the new DLC has a very, very good collection of charts, the newest one, but we will talk about what that is when we get to the song from it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I will say that this song is difficult. I think this is the last song in the Pizza Tower DLC that I got an S rank on. And I've not gotten an S plus on it, like you just saw there. That is very impressive.
On passe sur
All right.
plus de vitesse en fait, des musiques plus rapides.
Now it's time for my favorite base game chart.
Dans la démo aussi, je l'ai pas fini en démo.
This is a good one.
J'étais pas assez moi à ce moment-là.
Yeah, because remember how I said some of the songs are just here's the song, but twice as fast.
260 BPM.
Yeah, this song's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ça donne ça.
I will say, despite being so fast, the song's not that difficult because it doesn't do too much besides make it fast.
Yeah, it's the chart outside of the portals that we've seen a bit of, and maybe some of these red bats, which, for my money, bats in a situation where you're already a bit overwhelmed are really hard to deal with.
Yeah,
And I think
for reference,
really
this is
easy to get overwhelmed with the speed.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But this is one of the 4 songs that are in the game's demo, and the demo does feature impossible difficulty. This was the first of the 4 songs. This was the first song I ever beat on impossible difficulty. I found this easier than multiple songs that were supposed to be easier than it.
I think if I had played the demo more, I probably would have gotten an impossible clear in the demo. I think I have since cleared every song that was in the demo on impossible, but I didn't do them during the demo. And the first impossible clear I ever got is not being played in this set list.
Like these Blade Masters here, they're all just like on the offbeat, so like they're pretty easy to guess the pattern of, but when you're sight reading it and you don't know that, yeah, you're not telling where these guys are at the speed.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is where the portals can be very mean to you, because they start teleporting stuff right in front of you at a very high speed. Also, another Alex McCullough banger, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, that Blade Master pattern took me a hot minute to get down, because, again, you're not reading it cold turkey.
Yeah, that song speaks for itself a lot, but it's just really cool.
Yep. And it speaks really fast.
Oh yeah.
Hop, hop, hop.
Ouais, les j'ai raté au passage, je pense c'est raté, sont vraiment...
But coming up, we have
Si je les ai dans les mains,
another demo song, actually.
This is the hardest of the 4 demo songs.
Absolutely.
It's by Jules Conroy, so you could probably guess why.
Des mobs, donc du coup, il faut être attentif, etc. Où est-ce qu'ils apparaissent? Alors évidemment, toi, tu connais des tracks par cœur, donc tu sais ce qui va se passer. Et quand on découvre, c'est un peu tendu.
This next song is the one song in the demo that was like, oh, yeah, I'm never beating this on Impossible. Like, this is just way too much.
Yeah.
And then I obviously eventually did beat it on Impossible, but it's the peak example of what am I even looking at? I don't know how to read this.
Yeah.
Alors qu'en fait, c'est mine de rien, c'est
Because it comes out of the gate swinging almost immediately.
Let's rock.
This is a good time I don't think we fully mentioned. And with the runners like different control scheme, I don't actually fully know how their like input binding handles it. But if you ever need to hit all 3 keys at once, you can use the down arrow for that.
I will say they do have up and down swapped, as you can see in the middle.
Yeah.
Because that is an option in the controls where you could swap up and down, so that up is all 3 of them instead of down, but by default it's down.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. There's a lot to look at on these screens.
Oh yeah. I know to notice it now because at SGDQ there was a Rift setup in the practice room for a little while, and somebody swapped up and down, and I didn't notice. I was like, why am I playing so horribly? And then I noticed, so now I know to look for it.
I meant to hop on that setup, but I never did.
It was the personal Steam account of the person running it, and they have like 15 impossible clears because I just kept playing on it.
But yeah, we're kind of in the middle section of this chart, which has a lot of really fun kind of interplay between these shields and bats. And then the zombies come in. This as the name of the chart might suggest, this one uses a lot of brain power, even if it's not in this like main body of the song. It's not the fastest.
Yeah, that's kind of the interplay between the songs and the charts even more, because the whole point is the song is difficult looking patterns, but once you learn them, they're not actually that complicated. So you're going to overthink them. Yeah, because it's like by putting all these shield skeletons down at like different intervals, it's hard to tell which ones go where, but once you know what you're doing, it's a pretty simple pattern overall. In case you forgot why we're on Impossible. Guitar solo time.
Come on, fire!
Yeah, that guitar solo is... You save your Vive power for it, and you button mash through it and hope you survive.
Yeah. That's how I did it.
Yep, that is also how I did it for a very long time. There's a reason why the game has an in-game challenge for... That is one of the harder challenges. That is for just doing that section without dropping a note.
qui est revenu aussi en composition avec 2 autres personnes au moins pour le jeu de base.
Que des personnes talentueuses en dont
But, you know, I don't think we're dancing enough.
C'est vraiment un banger.
I think we gotta get moving a bit more, because you know this is basically a rave, right?
Yeah.
On va
It's,
bientôt attaquer les musiques un peu.
You know, keep the energy up, keep the like. We don't want to get crabby out here.
Une petite pause.
Une petite pause
Plus tranquille.
avec une petite musique que vous connaissez.
Oh,
peut-être.
maybe we do.
Voilà.
Yeah.
C'est comme des crabes,
I think it's time.
Yeah.
Rave.
So yeah, this is like the DLC that came out last week. Is the Monster Cat crossover pack, and it of course came with Crab Rib.
J'ai recommencé.
Ok.
Excusez-moi.
Oh,
We're gonna try that again.
that's understandable.
Allez, c'est pas grave. Let's go.
The song is not the most complicated by any means, but it's like very repetitive if you know the actual song. But it is obviously not free by any means.
Yeah. And I do really like what the chart of the song does, where obviously the song was a meme for a bit, so it's kind of known for being a bit goofy, but there's a part of it that's very repetitive and very iconic. And this chart just kind of doesn't take away from that.
Yeah, no, it basically embraces the fact that it's repetitive and switches up the pattern a bunch of times, despite the song itself not changing.
Yeah, we're going to be playing along to Crab Rave, but the method in which we do so is going to get increasingly sillier and more complicated and difficult to read. But I mean, it's the same melody. You know the melody of Crab Rave.
Also, I do like the fact that they added the little crabs to the other portrait.
Yeah. The little, like, Monster Cat mascot doesn't have them in any other song.
Yep. And we've just got the raven crabs with the glow sticks.
I'm on fire. In the zone.
Nicely done.
That is always a fun song.
Un petit A.
Oh, ouais,
Presque
c'est-
le S.
Après,
Je prends le A. je
Really funny. I didn't know this song was in the game, probably because it got added a week ago.
Oh, yeah, it's like a week old.
ça va, c'est très
This game has a really good habit of putting out new DLC right before a marathon showcase.
Amazing.
La plus courte de showcase, mais plus courte, ça veut pas dire forcément que c'est la plus simple.
All right, but now it's time for some more free DLC.
Yeah.
Anybody who's familiar with Danny Baranowski knows he also did the soundtrack for Super Meat Boy. So about like not even like a week, not even after the game came out, they released 3 remastered and remixed songs from Super Meat Boy and added them as free DLC, and this is one of them. This one, funny enough, is the only one that is not a difficulty 30 of those 3 songs.
Yeah, so this is the easiest of the Meat Boy songs, by the way, according to the game.
This is the only one of the 3 that I've FC'd so far.
And according to you, I guess.
Funny enough, I actually wouldn't even say it's the easiest one.
That's fair. I don't think I'm good enough to rank these ones. But yeah, this chart sticks pretty intensely, I'd say, to the melody of the song, but it's just a pretty chaotic song, all things considered.
But in true fast song fashion, it's got to give you a mix-up right here. And slow down.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a few songs that are super high BPM like this that swap between single time and double time a bunch, and you basically just have to learn when it happens because there's no indication.
I'm just sitting here, and to use rhythm game terms, these jacks and mini jacks are just blowing me away.
Yeah, this chart gets wild, and then those question marks that have been appearing aren't just for show. These are mystery traps, and they're probably one of the most evil, especially again I've been talking about how I like to read this game. Once something steps on a mystery trap, it doesn't have a visual anymore, but it still acts like what it was before it stepped on it. So you have to be paying really good attention.
And it's especially evil because sometimes it doesn't even give you a chance to see what it is. It just makes it invisible. That's a fun song. I like playing that one a lot.
That one's really fun, yeah.
All of the Super Meat Boy songs are fun. They're Danny B compositions, so you know they're good. And then I'm sure anybody familiar with Super Meat Boy knows it's a phenomenal soundtrack.
Mhm.
But speaking of games with good music, it's time for another DLC track.
Yeah.
Dernière 29, après ça va être que des 30.
This was the second to last DLC release so far, because this is Everhood.
Vous avez déjà affronté la bonne grenouille.
I'm familiar with it in the sense of I've heard of Everhood. I've not played it, and I did not know the music before this DLC came out. And now it has my favorite DLC track, which is not this one, but this one is very good and very, very difficult.
This one is super hard. This is one I have written down in my notes where I'm hoping you understand how to read this game enough to tell us what's happening, because I looked at this chart and I was still confused.
Yeah, no, this is one of the only charts in the game on Impossible that I only have an A rank on and haven't gotten an S yet. And as you saw before we loaded in the song, the same is the case for the person you're watching playing the game as well. This is a very difficult song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Everhood is another game like Pizza Tower that I've had on my backlog for a while, and I had heard one song from this game, but then as soon as I played this DLC, I was like, I really should get to it. But as you can see, even this part that's like less complex in reading theory is still very fast and has a lot of chords.
Because it's combining a lot of held notes with the shield skeletons, changing all of the lanes and everything. So it's like, so you basically have to have your one finger constant eighth notes and your other fingers just holding them down, and it takes some practice to get used to that on this song. Nothing like some triplet bat patterns and hot coals. Yeah, so remember what I said, the hot cold patterns are going to get a lot worse? Yeah, this is the song I was talking about. Yeah, now it's even subbing out the shield skeletons for alternating yellow slimes and blue slimes for the 8th notes.
Toujours pas fini.
I'm on fire.
And I will also say, as hard as this song is, it's also over 4 minutes long, so it's brutal both in regular difficulty and length.
Yeah, this song is wild. Like, I know Everhood is another music game that's very chaotic, but like, goodness, this song is like it's nuts. The only impossible FC I have in this whole game comes from the Everhood DLC,
Yeah.
but it is only an intensity 20, and it is like only 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a minute and a half long. It's the shortest song in the game.
Yeah, so hey, maybe that's why I have it, but like, I'm not.
Yeah, now we got the hot coals really start heating up. Yeah, this ending section is the definition of good luck.
So, do you still think you're a fan of the hot coals?
Very much so. I could read that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it up.
Oddly enough, I think that was the part that I could actually read.
En vrai.
Après, le pouvoir est là.
Ouais,
Enfin,
oui.
heureusement.
Voir un peu la poêle.
You could read it. How much time do you think it would take you to hit it?
Eh ben, c'est
Maybe
un peu
maybe
pour
3
les
tries.
autres maps également.
Okay. What about like the nerves of carrying an FC into that song for over 3 minutes?
Yeah,
Ensuite,
that
la bouche n'est
is
pas
a very different question, though.
Une toute dernière.
Yeah, that is a very tricky one.
And part of the difficulty with the hot coals is that the fire also kind of obscures what the enemies are when they're that high speed as well. So it's harder to tell which enemies have shields and stuff like that. But now it's time for what I assume is also one of your favorites.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite songs in the game.
This is probably my number 2 song in the entire game. Because this is also the only song with this specific composer duo. Danny B and Josie Reckner.
Yeah, Josie is probably my favorite composer that's like wasn't in Crypt but is in this game. And then Danny B is obviously kind of the legend of Crypt, yeah. And several other games.
Yeah, and remember those mystery traps? Yeah, this is the mystery trap song. This song is intensity 30 for the difficulty, and it is 100% just because of how many mystery traps it has. The song does do a cool thing with the mystery traps, where a lot of the time it'll give you the pattern a couple of times, and then the second time around it'll start obscuring part of it. So you just have to like remember what you played the first time around. But it doesn't always do that.
Yeah, like on that mystery trap section, you get the first shield skeleton, and it doesn't tell you about the rest of them.
It's also funny how we had the shopkeeper for the first couple songs, and then we don't have him anymore, when this is the song I always play with the shopkeeper. I just really like the shopkeeper part for this song.
I've like pretty much never played with the shopkeeper, but I can totally see it for this one.
this part with the mystery traps is very mean. Specifically this.
Alors je vais me permettre une petite précision, on parlait de collab, etc. Il y a plein de DLC. Sachez aussi que
That song is awesome. And that is the first Intensity 30 that has been played, but it's not going to be the last.
Yeah, get used to them, because that's all that's here from here on out.
Encore mieux, il y a eu des mappeurs de custom music.
And also, that is, without a doubt, the easiest Intensity 30 in the game, because, again, most of the difficulty comes from those mystery traps rather than the actual charting itself.
Mhm.
Il y a également le mode remix où en fait
Ouais.
c'est les
Yeah, the rest of these, that's not the case.
mais en fait les notes sont en
Yeah.
il y a vraiment moyen d'avoir
The rest of these are difficult because the charting is just absurd.
Yeah. We've talked about the one or two other Jules Conroy songs that
avec les notes randomisées parce que
had a lot of wild guitar solos, but maybe were a little nice at some points with how they were charted to make the charts more playable. Not the case with this one.
Yeah, this is just a 2-minute long guitar solo, essentially. This is, in my opinion, the hardest base game song. Okay, we lied. There's a little bit of a reprieve here.
tous les environs
A little bit.
It doesn't last long, though, because we're back in the trenches. Playing that song well to any capacity in a live marathon setting like this is impressive, no matter what your end score is.
vraiment bien.
that is just a very, very difficult song. Even Family Jewels himself agrees. I think on the official upload he commented, it's like, you couldn't pay me enough to play this song live.
9 minutes
De retard, désolé.
Goodness.
On va parler alors qu'on n'a pas beaucoup parlé finalement. mais
9
bon.
minutes de musique.
And now we go from the hardest Jewels song to the hardest Annie B song.
Exactement.
Yeah, so I think we talked while we were waiting for the game itself to be fully set up that this game does have its story mode with its rhythm punch out boss fights. But once you do those in the story, you get the song available in the boss fight just as a standard chart that you can play. And this is the final boss fight against the NecroDancer.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Crip's music, you might recognize a handful of the melodies in here, because this is kind of a remix of his themes from that game.
Yeah.
And this song, the intensity 30 comes from both the fact that it's over 4 minutes long, and the fact that it's really difficult.
In the zone.
Because I hope you like hot coal patterns. This is the only base game song that I'm stuck on A rank for. I've gotten at least an S on every other base game song, and you can probably guess why.
In the zone. Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That song, that part's legitimately not that difficult to survive because it puts in so much food. But getting through that section with any semblance of a combo intact is the real challenge.
And yeah, like with a part like that, especially, I really do like that this song, even though again, in the story mode, the boss fights are different from standard gameplay, even just the chart of this song really does feel like a final test of sorts.
I'm on fire.
Because the game does a really good job with the building of difficulty, where it like ramps up a little bit, ramps down, and then by the end of the game, that's where all the intensity 30 charts are located. Because like Baboosh and Necrosonautica are like two of the last 3 songs you play in the story mode. This is obviously the final boss fight. So it does a good job of building up to this. Doesn't necessarily mean you're prepared for it, but builds up to it.
And there we go.
Bah, let's go pour la
Once again,
dernière,
another
c'est,
song where just doing it in a live setting is very impressive.
la dernière
Absolutely.
ce
Qui
showcase.
est la plus
And
longue, pas la plus longue du
and so
jeu.
now we have
J'ai passé par une qui est sortie
one more song now. And
collab le live.
Yeah.
The last DLC pack we've yet to show off is the HoloLive pack.
Un peu moins difficile
So we have
que les autres, mais
another Intensity 30 that is also, if my research was correct, the currently second longest song in the game, only beaten by a song that came out in last week's Monster Cat pack.
There's 2 songs in the game that are over 5 minutes long, and this is one of them.
Yes. The other one, again from the Monster Cat pack, is Final Boss.
When I say I looked at the set list, I'm like, I would never do this in a live setting. This is the song I'm talking about. Partially because it's 5 minutes long and you can fit in 2 other songs that same time period, but this is a song that, like, none of the charting is like the hardest thing ever, but the fact that it's this charting for 5 minutes straight is where the challenge is.
Absolutely.
It does not let up. That being said, it also has one of my favorite charting sections in the entire game later on, so I will obviously not spoil what that is, but
Yeah, this chart has the 2 enemies that I struggle with the most, especially featured. The Sword Masters and Harpies like to come out a lot on this one.
oh yeah, no. Yeah, the fact that the song is also pretty fast makes it even more challenging. This, like, when this DLC pack came out, I played this song and was like, oh, I'm okay just never being good at this song. It is hard, and it is an extremely difficult song to do because it's just a marathon. It's a really good song, but it is very difficult.
I'm not much of a HoloLive person, and I needed a break from this game when this pack came out. So it's the pack I have the least experience with, but it's a really cool one. All of the songs are pretty good. The charts are mostly good, and as I mentioned earlier, with DLC packs usually only having one alternate graphic on the right side, every song in this pack has its own right side character.
Yeah, because each song is from a different VTuber.
Yeah.
So each have unique visuals. Alright. This part coming up is my favorite part in terms of the chart and the song meshing together.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think that's the best way the game ever makes use of teleporting enemies right in front of you, because it's a call and response section. You have to learn what's being said and then you respond. I just think that's a really, really cool way of charting it.
Mm-hmm.
船長は君たちをそんな子に育てた覚えはありません。本当にね。だぞ。
立てば地上、座れば昭和、歩く姿はセンシティブ。
夢の見ようこの船で後悔なんてさせない。君たちのおかげで私は船長になれるから。ミラクル船長から。声を上げてさ出航だ。我ら宝生海賊団。婚活片手に旗を上げこの海をジャックしちゃう。よそろついておいで共にをほよ
And there we go.
That was a phenomenal showcase. Breaking 3 million points on that song in a live marathon setting is extremely impressive.
Yeah.
I've barely even broken 3 million points on that song in general.
Yeah, but we saw the live S rank. That's really
It's
good.
like you could see from those note numbers and the fact that it's 5 minutes long, those scores in the song go extremely high because that has the most notes out of any song in the game.
Mhm.
But huge GGs for that showcase because that was being able to play this game in a live setting is infinitely more difficult than just playing it at home. And so being able to show off this game in a capacity that shows off both your skill and what the game has to offer is not an easy thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Il y a même une démo si jamais.
C'est ça.
Même sur le Discord.
So an absolutely great job there
N'hésitez pas, franchement, même
on all of the songs.
pour être là.
Pour vous soutenir.
Yeah, and if you wanted to see what the rest of the game has to offer, you can always pick it up for yourself and tackle it and see what's going on, because you saw an hour of the songs in this game. There's way more than that.
Oui,
Mhm,
bonsoir.
yeah.
Salut, comment ça va?
Salut les Nino.
Ça va, ouais.
Ça rejoint.
Yeah,
Comment ça va,
absolutely.
toi, déjà?
Rift is the game I've been looking at, and I honestly, this has gotten me much closer to buying the game. This was a great showcase. Thank you both for commentating. Do you each have shout-outs, and where can people find you on the internet?
Parce qu'on va s'enchaîner sur des jeux qui font peur plus ou moins en fait.
You can find me LaurieDBunnykins, Twitch and Blue Sky mainly. But I feel like I should stream rhythm games more than I do. Maybe I will, who knows.
I'm IllegallySam. You can find me, Twitch, IllegallySam there. IllegallySam pretty much everywhere. I stream a lot of indie games, not necessarily rhythm games, but definitely a lot of stuff that you probably haven't heard of. So that's kind of my shtick. But that's what I've got.
D'ailleurs, LTTP, n'hésitez pas à bourrer les dons pour Gringue.
All right, great. Yeah, thank you both for coming on to commentate. This was a lot of fun. That was Rift of the NecroDancer Impossible Showcase. Stick around, we have so much more marathon coming up for you all. We have a full day left in this, so we'll be back very shortly with more Nitro Speedrun Festival.